Opposition Leader and Political Leader of the United National Congress, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, SC, Members of Parliament of the United National Congress, Executive Members of the UNC and the NTA, 36 local government election candidates of the UNC and the NTA for Diego Martin, Port of Spain, and San Juan Laventil, to the thousands of supporters that will be viewing live on TV6 at this time, good evening. It's getting a little warm here. It's a little warm. It's a little warm here. I am very proud to be here tonight as the nation is pleading for this. They are pleading for positive change, for unification, and getting the best minds together to transform our country. I want to briefly take this opportunity to explain the reason for this alliance. And I do this to all listening here tonight. I would like to clarify this word coalition. Let it be known that there are over 80 countries in the world that had coalition governments, past and present. They had over 30 in Europe, a dozen in Africa, Asia, the Americas, and many have worked. Some have not worked. But again, you have other countries that have one government with one dictator. And sometimes that does not work. It is not working now. We are seeing here that the PNM, they will always win an election if it is the other political parties, they do not unite. The data is there. Every single time there's a coalition, every single time the parties unite, the PNM is defeated. In 1986, in 1995, in 2010 general election, and in 2010 local government election. So Kamala Prasad Bisesa has been instrumental in 50% of the defeats of the PNM in this country because she understands the importance of unifying. Every single time, as I said, that there's not a coalition, the PNM would win, except for one time, and that government lasted a few months. So it means one of three things. If anyone has an issue with this, it means you do not understand the politics. It means you are questioning the judgment of your political leader and myself. And more importantly, it means you want Keith Rowley to continue to win. You need to make that decision. So I am asking you here tonight, the choice is clear. Do we go alone and we allow Keith Rowley to win? Is that what you want? Do we work together and ensure that Keith Rowley is defeated? Is that what we want? There are other political parties. Some of them, they spit hate, bitterness, anger, and that is not what we are here for. In fact, there's an orange party like that, the same color as Rhoda Barrett's head. And we are not here for that type of politics. The type of politics that you have seen with Kamala Prasad Bisesa is to unite, to build, to be productive, and that is what we are here for. And I ask all to understand the importance of the bridge constituency. This third constituency, it started in 81 with ONR with 91,000 votes. It then moved to the NAR with 127,000. It then moved to the COP with 147,000. The point is, however, that we cannot win alone. It is important for us to understand we need to work with our UNC brothers. And I would like to take a message here tonight to the 36 candidates. First to the 20 NTA candidates. Understand your role and function. As I said, there are 147,000 persons who voted for the COP in 2007. They then went on to work with the People's Partnership to ensure the annihilation of the PNM in 2010 general and the 2010 local government. Your job is to find those persons and get them to come back out and understand whether you are ONR, NAR, COP, NTA, that bridge constituency, that third constituency, now is your time to come back out and vote and support the NTA candidates and the UNC candidates in the three areas of Diego Martin, Port of Spain, San Juan Laventil. And to my UNC brothers and sisters, to those 16 candidates, the same thing. Ensure that the UNC supporters understand this system. It is something that is unified. It would work. We are not going to look at the results of 2013, 2016, and 2019 local government election. Looking at the results of 2010, when Kamala Prasad Bisesa united the parties, it was annihilation for the PNM. That annihilation ensured we control the Diego Martin then cooperation. We got several seats in Port of Spain and San Juan Laventille. We can do it again. And the reason I can say this is that I have been doing a lot of walking. I have walked the hills of Paramin, the hills of Cocorite. I just came out from Scorpion in Caranage, Sealots, Duncan Street, Nelson Street, downtown Port of Spain, Aruca. And every single place I've gone, what you've heard is two things. They have never seen the political leader of the PNM in any of these places. And the second thing is they have never seen the PNM councillor since 2019. And it says a lot. This is the time. This is your time. They are willing to give us that opportunity. So the Prime Minister, Keith Rowley, he has a concern that I am working. But I am working to serve people. I want to make sure and let the country know that I will be there with you. I will be supporting you. And it has a lot to do with work ethic. The bags you're seeing under my eyes is because since this coalition has started, the political leader of the UNC, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, she starts work at 4 a.m. So at 4 a.m., she will be calling me and work starts. We don't stop. I have worked with 4 prime ministers as the right hand. Patrick Manning, Basil Pandey, Keith Rowley, and Kamala Persad-Bissessar. And she is indeed one of the hardest working prime minister that I have worked. Now let's look at the contrast. The contrast is that yesterday morning at 10:17 a.m., Keith Rowley is on the golf course on the 7th hole playing golf. The man plays golf Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday from 7 a.m. to midday. And then 2 p.m. stays in the golf club with his partners. That is why the country is the way it is. There's a lack of leadership. I give the assurance to the country. We are ready to work. We're ready to transform Trinidad and Tobago. Give us that chance. Additionally, Keith Rowley is an individual. Every single time he speaks, the one thing, it's a PNM mantra. Yes, PNM, we are incompetent, we are inefficient, but they're thief. But I can tell you there are 2 political leaders here tonight. And none of these 2 political leaders were ever hauled before the Integrity Commission and had questions to answer after being investigated. So Keith Rowley, every time you speak about that, look in the mirror. I want to go again as it pertains to the concern of Trinidad and Tobago. Keith Rowley is trying to give the perception that this is just a local government election. Everywhere I walk, the main concern that you're hearing from everyone is the concern of their most fundamental right, the right of safety and security, the right to live, their concern of crime. He wants to bypass that. But forget about the incompetence of the PNM and the councillors in dealing with the basic needs in local government. The importance of national security in local government is also there. You would have seen in 2013 and 2015, during that period, it was the highest reduction in violent crime in 30 years. And that was because we had a chair of the National Security Council who understood her job, her role and function. We worked as a team. And because of that, there were many policies that we put in place that we could reignite, even in local government. And so we win the corporations, we can make it safer for each and every citizen in those corporations or boroughs. And I speak about simple things from the Community Comfort Patrol, the Rapid Response Unit, the National Security Special Operation Group, the National Security Training Academy, the dam and vessels that cost over $1 billion less than the defective OPVs. And you know, when they speak about OPVs, I ask everyone, type BAE/corruption. You will find 17 countries that sued BAE for paying kickback to government officials. So Kamala Persad-Bissessar government, we were able to get the dam and vessels for $1 billion less to do the same thing that the BAE vessels could have done. All of these things were shut down and dismantled when the PNM got in 2015. I reignited many of these things when I became Commissioner of Police. So from forming the Special Operation Response Team, the Emergency Response Patrol, the Operational Command Center, the Commissioner's Command Center, GPS tracking. And again, let me also a reminder, in 2015, we had an effective E999 system where you would be put on hold for 45 minutes. Those things can be done. And it was because the political leader of the UNC at the time, the Prime Minister, and myself, as the Minister of National Security, we were able to transform Trinidad and Tobago. And the same thing that happened then in 2015, I was able to reignite it. And you look at data. Trinidad and Tobago understand, since 1991, let's look at it. 1991 to 1995, every year crime went up. PNM was in government. 1995 to 2000, every year crime went down. That's when the UNC was in government. 2000 to 2010, every single year, crime would have gone back up. PNM. 2010 to 2015, went back down. UNC. 2015 to 2023, every year it goes back up, except for my last year, when it was the highest reduction in violent crime. And then, what made it worse is that they decided, just like what they did with shutting down and dismantling every single thing that the People's Partnership had put in place to make people feel safe, they shut it down again as when I was Commissioner of Police. So when Keith Rowley says I was his biggest mistake, it is because I was not a political puppet as a Commissioner of Police. Trinidad and Tobago, yesterday it was me. Today it is Farley Augustine. Tomorrow it could be you. We have to understand what is happening in this country. So Keith Rowley wanted a puppet to control. He could not do that. During COVID, he wanted me to arrest persons in their home in breach of their constitutional rights. I said no. The man went and pumped $45 million into the police account and directed me to tell me who to hire and to target political opponents in an investigation. Any other country in the world, there will be a snap election. What that man has done is similar to dictatorship. $45 million. By the way, no procurement concern then. $45 million, handpick this UK person, I wouldn't call Kate McMahon's name, and then you then say that it is to target 3 political opponents. That is what is called democratic dictatorship, where a prime minister believes he can control and direct police in the performance of their duties. So what he's doing now, as it pertains to vetting, Keith Rowley, we had vetted units for years in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We had the Special Branch, we have the SIU, we had SWOT, we had the White Collar Crime Unit. They're already there. And do not lie and mislead the country to say the United States said they must establish a vetted unit. What they said is that they would like to work with a vetted unit. You already have the vetted unit. What he wants is to have his own unit. Because again, what Keith Rowley wants to have is to have control of the police service. And that must not happen. So, as we then go on, I heard Mr. Mann speak about polygraph testing recently. So, he wants to speak about polygraph testing. So, because I knew that there are people within the PNM who are also involved in polygraph testing, I went and did my own polygraph test by one of the most successful and well-known polygraphers in Miami, that they deal with all the Miami police. And in that polygraph test, questions were asked, have I ever received any inducement? As the police commissioner, did I accept an inducement? Did I ever receive anything of value as making decisions? And the answer was, based upon careful analysis of the polygrams used to examine the subject, it is the opinion of this examiner that the subject, that's maybe myself, was truthful to the responses. There was no deception indicated to any of the relevant test questions asked. Now, so I have a polygraph test to prove that I do not lie. And that every single thing that Keith Rowley said as it pertains to firearms, he lied. However, what I would like now is I want to challenge Keith Rowley to do polygraph testing. He and Gary Griffith, mano a mano. And these are the questions I would like to ask because it is for me and for him. Did you ever use your position to benefit financially by illegal activities, inclusive of state assets, to move it from one location to another to financially benefit yourself? Did you ever harass, meet, or influence the police to investigate political opponents? Have you ever compromised your position as a member of parliament to influence independent bodies to make decisions to benefit you politically? Tell us everything you know about Emailgate. Do you know where the typewritten Emailgate really came from? Did you ever harass a commissioner of police to fast track approval for explosive licenses for your friends in Tobago? Did you ever harass a commissioner of police to get FUL dealership license for your partner in Tobago to sell hundreds of guns for them? Do you communicate or influence police officers to target political opponents? And did you influence or intimidate the previous Police Service Commission chairman to withdraw a merit list illegally, as this was never approved by the Police Service Commission. I am asking Keith Rowley, let the both of us, mano a mano, to do these polygraph tests, seeing that he wants to speak about polygraph tests. And may I add, it is the same vetted unit. It is the same vetted unit that Keith Rowley is speaking about, which is the special branch that did a damning report on one of his ministers. And he said in a hypocritical manner, well, that is intelligence. That doesn't matter. But then when you hire three jokers, three people who are civilians with no authority, no law enforcement authority, and they write lies about me, you say, well, okay, we could use that. That is why the court said, don't feel you could go to Parliament, because Parliament is the one place you could lie and not be sued, aka email gate. And he was stopped from doing that. And that shows that Keith Rowley is a hypocrite. You ignore special branch report based on intelligence, but you want to use a report by people you handpick. This is what Keith Rowley, this is his style. Just like the Stanley John report, just like the audit report, handpick people that could be closely affiliated to whoever, pay them big money, let them write a report, and then say this about the individual. The country is not buying those lies anymore. So his mistake is an individual that when I took over the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, it was 14% public trust and confidence. It then moved to 55% when I left. His mistake was an individual who ensured that every violent crime was reduced by 35%. His biggest mistake was an individual that caused crime to fall to number 4 in the concern of the country behind health, education, and the economy. His concern was the fact that criminals were on the back foot, and he ignored 89% of the population who wanted somebody to return or had no concern. But you know, the other 11% comprised criminals. So Keith Rowley, you in select company because you didn't have what you didn't want. And over 80 police officers were suspended, removed, or even arrested under my watch because we were cleaning up the police service. And by cleaning up the police service, it caused the public to buy in and it built trust and confidence. Instead, what you have done, we have now gone back to the past now, where police officers, $120 million a year I was able to reduce in overtime corruption because we had police officers claiming that they were working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and $80,000 a month. I put an end to that. I put an end to the concern about firearm corruption because the harder it was for you to get the firearms, that is what will cause people to pay. Because I made it easier, he had a concern. And again, it seemed that the PNM, they did maths in August. They went to school in August. Because they claim we give, that Kamala Prasad Bisesa and I want to give firearms to everyone. I gave out 4,000 odd firearms out of 50,000 applicants. 4,000. Half of that were to law enforcement officials because of our backward system that when you're a police officer, a soldier, a sailor, a customs officer, a prisons officer, you actually have to return your firearm to the station and then go home and you can't protect your family. 2,000 of those were given to law enforcement officials. And the other 2,000, not one was lost, not one was stolen, not one was used for a crime, not one was used for a murder. In fact, dozens of lives were saved. So it seems that Keith Rowley has a problem with law-abiding persons having the right to fight back, having the right to stand your ground, having the right to defend yourselves. It gets even worse. My wife, Nicole Dyer Griffith, she pushed for pepper spray. They don't even want to give pepper spray to give women a fighting chance. Until this government is removed, it is going to get worse because it seems that this government looks after the rights of the criminals rather than the rights of the law-abiding citizens. And again, as I state, yesterday it was me. Today it is Folly Augustine. Tomorrow it could be you. There are so many other things that would have been done. When we speak about our law enforcement officials, Kamala Prasad Bisesa had them at heart. We had 150 foreign use UK people. 150. It was costing us over $22 million to maintain 150 foreign use UK officials. What she did is send them back to UK and took that money to give each and every law enforcement official $1,000 a month since 2010, and that has not stopped. So to Trinidad and Tobago, again, as I said, we are in desperate times. We need to do what is required. I ask you to understand the importance of this unification. We have to work together. As someone just mentioned, the reason he does not want to have these international observers is because he has a plan. We need to be very cognizant, monitor carefully, and to ensure that we win. And as I said, to the UNC and NPA candidates, work together, work as a team, ensure that those 147,000 persons who are Congress of the People members, they come back out and vote. We are going to win this. We are going to win this local government election. And before I close, as I said, yesterday was me. Today is Farley Augustine. Tomorrow it is you. We understand that this man is a dictator. He wants to control the police service. He wants to control independent bodies. I ask you that on the 14th of August, send a loud and clear message to Keith Rowley. Enough. Thank you.